Hi friend, today we are going to discuss the one of the important topic present into the female reproductive systems, nothing but known as the uterus. As we all know, the uterus is the organ which play the important role for maturation, fertility and the pregnancies. For these three things, uterus play the very important roles. Second things, whenever you are discussing about the positions, so uterus is present in between the rectums and the bladders. Okay, so here the uterus will be present. The anterior side the bladder is present and the posterior side is the present by the rectum. In between this both the uterus will situated. It is the hollow muscular elastable organ. Whenever you are discussing the structure of uterus, okay, structure is having three layers. How many layers is there for the uterus? So there are the three layers for the uterus, which is nothing but the outermost layer is known as premetrium, middle one is known as the myometrium, and the innermost layer is known as the endometrium. See, whenever we are discussing about the menstrual cycle, in menstrual cycle, especially the endometriums are playing the important role that we discuss in next topic. The outermost protective layer is nothing but the premetrium, and the highly muscular layer of the uterus, it is known as the myometrium. As well as whenever the contraction times the baby is pushed out, in that the myometrium is playing the very important roles. And the third layer is known as the endometrium. The endometrium is nothing but the innermost layer of the uterus. This layer of the uterus is shed during the menstrual cycle also. Okay, whenever we are discussing the menstrual cycle, in that time we are discussing the important functioning of the endometrium. After this layer, there will be the another parts of the uterus is there. In that first one is the fundus. So fundus is nothing but the uppermost and widest part of the uterus is connect to the fallopian tube. This is okay. So fundus, this part is of uterus is known as the fundus. We are telling known as the fundus. This part of uterus only attached to the fallopian tube. This is nothing but the fallopian tube. Here is the ovary. Ovary is secreting the ovum. When we are discussing the menstrual cycle, that time you will see. See, here will be the major part. This total area of the uterus is known as the body. Otherwise, the body of uterus. Clear? The largest surface area of the uterus is known as the body. After that, next we are going to see, sir, we discusses there are the three layers is there: premetrium, myometrium, endometrium. Inside only the outermost layer, this is the premetrium. Here will be the myometrium, and innermost layer is known as the endometrium. See here, this part, this area is known as the cervix area. What this area is known as the cervix area. See, whenever you are discussing in detail, so cervix area is divided in two types. Here two way. Okay, this two way. See, one area which is present inside the uterus, one area which is present inside of uterus, it is known as the internal cervical os. Outer side of area, this is known as the external cervical os. After that, we are seeing, see here will be the one canal like structure is there, from where the sperm is entering into the uterus. If the ovum is there, that time we can tell the fertilization will take place. To pass this sperm inside of uterus, here will be the canal like structure. This canal like structure is known as the cervical canal. What is this? Cervical canal. So this is the general part of uterus is there. Important things is there whenever we are discussing about the weight. weight of uterus. So universally you should write down there will be the 60 gram of weight of the uterus is there. Where how much? 60 fertilization as well as for pregnancies. After that we saw the positioning of the uterus. So uterus is presenting in between the rectum and the bladder. Anterior side the bladder is there, posterior side there will be the rectum is there. After that we saw it is the hollow muscular elastable organ is there. It is having 3 layers, which is nothing but the premetrium, myometrium, endometrium. Another general parts we saw. So in that the uppermost area is known as the fundus. After that the largest surface area is known as the body of uterus. Next we saw here will be this part. It is known as the cervix. Cervix is also having 2 ways. Internal cervical os, which is present inside of uterus. External cervical os, the part is present inside of the vagina. Here will be the one like canal-like structure present inside of the cervix. This canal-like structure is known as the cervical canus. One thing always keep it in mind, secondary is that is nothing but the arterial supply. So arterial supply for the uterus, it is nothing but the uterine artery. Uterine artery is supplying blood for the uterus.